Before electricity, night did not fade gently into a bright indoor world. It arrived in earnest. Once the sun dropped and the last outdoor light thinned, darkness became a practical fact. People adjusted their movement, their tasks, and even their expectations. A home after sunset was not simply the daytime house with the lights off. It was a different environment with different rules. Light came from candles, rushlights, oil lamps, and the hearth, but each source was limited. Candles cost money or labor. Lamps needed oil. Rushlights burned dimly and briefly. A fire gave warmth and some glow, but not clear light to every corner. Most households learned to think carefully about where light was needed and for how long. At night, people used less of the house. A household gathered near the fire or the best lamp and let the rest of the room fall away into shadow. Space shrank to the area that could be seen, warmed, or safely used. Darkness encouraged economy. There was little reason to illuminate a whole room when one small pool of light could serve the evening. Not every task was worth doing after dark. Spinning, mending, washing, preparing food for the next day, checking animals, and banking the fire might still happen, but work was shaped by visibility. The fine, precise, or dangerous tasks became harder. Night naturally slowed the pace of labor, not because people were idle, but because light placed real limits on speed and accuracy. The fire was more than warmth. It was the emotional and visual center of the room. Its light moved across faces, tools, bowls, and walls. It made a small circle in which people could talk, eat, prepare for bed, or sit in relative comfort. Beyond that circle, the house belonged increasingly to dark and silence. Night before electricity sounded different too. There were no refrigerators humming, no screens, no traffic glow leaking through curtains, and often no steady artificial background noise. Instead, there was wind, timber settling, distant animals, footsteps outside, voices from nearby houses, the pop of the hearth, and then stretches of real quiet. That quiet could feel restful, but it could also feel large. People did not always treat sleep as one single block. In some places and periods, historical evidence suggests that first sleep and second sleep were familiar patterns, especially in winter. People might wake, pray, think, talk quietly, tend the fire, or simply lie still before sleeping again. Night was not always empty time. It could have its own slow interior rhythm. Darkness often encouraged inward habits. Evening prayer, small acts of devotion, remembering the dead, reviewing the day, or quietly planning tomorrow all fit naturally into a low-lit world. When fewer tasks were possible, thought became easier to hear. The night invited forms of attention that busy daylight could push aside. Many households did not experience night in private bedrooms. Families, servants, lodgers, or children shared rooms and sometimes beds. Night was communal. One person's cough, prayer, dream, or late movement belonged to everyone nearby. Darkness reduced visibility, but it did not create solitude. It often made people more aware of one another. Night could also carry fear. Poor weather, sickness, thieves, fire, strange noises, and spiritual anxieties all felt larger in darkness. But familiarity mattered. Most people were not shocked by night. They knew its routines, its risks, and its comforts. Darkness was not exotic. It was a daily condition that demanded competence. Without electricity, evening often closed the day more firmly. Once light sources were no longer worth spending, and once the essential chores were done, there was less pressure to extend activity endlessly. The day had edges. Darkness helped impose them. People might still stay awake for company or necessity, but the world itself suggested that rest should come soon. Modern people often encounter darkness only in fragments, softened by bulbs, screens, and standby lights. Earlier nights had more presence. They narrowed the world, deepened sound, shortened labor, and made firelight precious. To live before electricity was to know night as a real force in ordinary life, not merely the background between one lit room and the next.